Hi Capricorn, this is your reading for the week of March 30th, or when you hear this and it resonates, and it will not be for every Capricorn. I'm sorry about the late. You're the last one that tagged on only because I had a problem with your video and I had to redo it. So now we're starting fresh. The first thing that I saw, Capricorn, was you holding a menu in a restaurant and going down the list, and it was almost as though you were looking at this almost like a kid looking at the menu, wondering what your parents were going to allow you to have. Can you have, ice cream with that piece of pie? Or are you just allowed to have a bowl of soup? It's this quality of what you will be allowed to have, what you will be allowed to enjoy. And there's that sense that as an adult, now you'd be looking at the menu and you wouldn't just be looking at the prices to determine what you would have, but you would be looking at how fancy a recipe is, how elaborate, how special it is. And the tendency that I'm hearing for some of you is that you might still have a tendency to just go for the cheapest thing on your menu or the least impressive thing on a menu, because there is a mindset you may not be aware of that is being driven by a sense of not being worthy of the best or better, or even just what you desire. Now, that's important. What they're saying here is that it's not just, what's important is it's not just you don't deserve the best, but that you don't deserve what you desire, right? Because what you desire is not always going to be the best. It might be peace and quiet as opposed to a fancy car. So this is about you being able to get in touch with what it is you're really truly desiring in life, and addressing whatever issues of unworthiness or shame come up around that. And this is really important because shame is such an aberrant energy. It's so not in alignment with the essence of who our higher consciousness knows we are. It's very linked to the personality. And for me, shame is very linked. When I look at it, shame is very often linked to trauma. And even if it isn't a traumatic event in terms of, okay, let me put it into a different way. Even though it might seem normal at the time in a parenting role to discipline somebody in a way where guilt is used as a kind of either a punishment or as the measuring stick by which you don't go past, or you're going to get this guilt trip. That in itself can be an experience of trauma for somebody, because if in that moment they take what they're being disciplined about and it turns from a behavior that's not appreciated or good, and it becomes about who they are, now that is, to me, that is a traumatic event, because now you have taken on an aberrant energy about who you are rather than what you do. And if it's shaming, then that is very disempowering, and that can certainly lead to a mental attitude of not worthy, not enough. But the beautiful thing, Capricorn, is what they're saying is grace and love are the two cards that come in and say what you feel all around the shame card. So you've got the shame card, you've got grace, you've got love, and you've got say what you feel, which is honest, being honest about yourself and having the right to be honest and to say what you feel without fear of shame, right? That changes everything, because when you can genuinely speak your mind, speak your truth about what it is you are feeling in any given situation, then you can also decide what you like, what you would like instead. And it gives you the ability to speak without this overlayer of I shouldn't, I can't, maybe it's not, maybe. It gives you the ability to speak confidently and say, thank you so very much. And no, that's not going to work for me. Or how about if we try this? Or anything else that is about creating cooperation while showing respect and love to yourself. And love really is your card. You see, love is our essential being. Shame is what comes in over top of it, which clouds us from knowing that we are love and that we are all recipients of grace whenever we let ourselves do it. It's a matter of settling into it. So now what Spirit is saying, oh, now this is important too. Okay. What they're saying is that as we are on this journey of self-love, learning to understand the spiritual nature of self-love and, in fact, who we are as love, we're going to come upon those aspects, those energies in us that are not in alignment with that. And I believe most of us, almost all humans, carry some sort of not enoughness in them. Whether it's deep shame or mild insecurity, very often it goes back to this kind of well of emotion that is about us not belonging, not feeling like we're enough, feeling like we have to compensate or justify our right to be here. There's so many different ways it can show up. But it will come up as we are doing the practice of self-love, because to really genuinely embrace self-love, it means embracing all of us. Shame is one of the most painful emotions that we'll ever find. And so it will have to come up at some point. What's being as you progress? Now, there are many different ways that it can come up. You can regulate it. You can create a structure for yourself in which you address it. Obviously, this can include therapy of many different kinds. But what Spirit is saying is, please remember that you have divine love, and that whatever feelings or emotions you're going to go through in order to integrate any of these aberrant energies, for example, around shame, you lean into grace, lean into the understanding that there is a divine benevolent force that is there for you, that is guiding you, and that is there regardless of what you think of yourself. It's regardless of what anybody else thinks of you. You have the right, the birthright to divine grace. And that is what Spirit wants you to know, that as these feelings of inadequacy, right down to deep shame, come up, please remember, nothing is stronger than the frequency of love. And you've got grace there to remind you of that. And that as bad as it feels, when you are able to experience it from a loving place, it softens everything and it allows you to start really opening it up and moving it out. And sometimes it can happen in a flash. Oh my God, I'm innocent. And sometimes it takes layers to come off. It all depends upon what your experiences have been and how you're maintaining your energies in your system. But it's all a process of learning and growing, Capricorn. And you are being told, especially now, please remember, love and grace, those are your two mantras. And use them, use them, use them, use them. And use them to be able to stay in touch with the truth of your feelings, even if they're uncomfortable. Even if they're uncomfortable. Once you address them and acknowledge them in a safe space, in a structured space, in a way that is good for you, everything starts to change. So I'm going to leave you with that because I think it's pretty darn good. Take care, Capricorn.